Hi guys, hope you're alright. This video is for mainly first timers or people who haven't even applied for camp yet. So if you are one of them people, definitely stick around and I'll tell you my experience. So this video is essentially, you read the title, what nobody told me about summer camp application or something like that. I'll figure out the title. Just going to jump straight in. First thing I'd say is go with an agency. If you do it like alone, you're probably going to mess up or you're going to panic more because it is quite stressful anyway planning all of this, because you're going to be working with kids in another country for 2 months and then you could be travelling for a month after. So if I were you, definitely go with an agency. And with camp leaders, they've been absolutely great. I've got a code as well that I'll put here. Use that code, you get £20 off. You might as well, because you're saving money and then that money can go to something else in America. Camp leaders and my codes here, so definitely use that if you can. The first point I'll make is the expenses. Now technically the man at the start of camp leaders did tell me the expenses, but it was a rough estimate because everyone's different, but it was a rough guide, and I'm pretty sure he said he thinks it's about £500 without flights. I've spent more than that because I made mistakes. Agency fees are different for each agency you go for, but for camp leaders it's £350 without the flights, and in my opinion that's really good value for money because it's literally set out, do this, do this, do this and do this, and then you're at camp basically. I'm like halfway through it at the minute. Well, I'm like 90% done, I'd say. So £350 for the agency fees, and each agency is different, remember. Then not long after, you have to pay for your ICPC, which is the International Children's Protection Certificate. That is £99, and I'm not sure if there's delivery, so maybe like £5 delivery, but £99 for that. So that's not too bad as well. Like, you need it to work in America with kids. It's a document. I've got my certificate in my wardrobe. You just got to get it. Another fee is the visa. The American J1 visa is £140. Then you've got to collect your passport, and you can either collect it from the embassy or the consultant or whatever it's called in Belfast, or you can get it delivered to another government building in England. The closest one to me was Manchester, but that was still £23 to get it delivered. So 23 quid to get it delivered 40 miles away from the house. You know what I mean? So then you can pay £33 to get it delivered to your house. And obviously I done that because I'm not gonna spend £10 on a train ticket to Manchester when I could spend £10 to get it delivered to my house. You know what I mean? So all in all, the visa technically costs £173 if you want to get it delivered to your house. If you're from Belfast or from London, perfect, you can just pick it up on your way to work or whatever, I guess. The visa does come up to quite a bit, and on here I've got as well plus travel. I got flights to Belfast for like £33 there and back, but then I've got a video here, I'll put it up here, the Belfast trip to get my J1 visa. Definitely watch that after this video because it will really help you understand the whole process of getting a visa and how good Belfast can be. But it went bad, I'll tell you that. It went really bad. We spent so much money, me and my mate Liam, but it is what it is because I'm going to America, baby. You know what I mean? Another factor with the expenses is, so you pay your £50 straight away, so £50, then you pay, once you get enrolled and they say you're perfect for the role, we will give you a job, like don't worry about it, you then pay £150 within the space of a week of that happening, or 2 weeks, and then you've got £150 left to pay. But I joined during the online hiring fair, and I'll speak more about that later, and because I did that, I got offered the chance to do an interview with someone I can't believe her name's Amy. Essentially for them to use the footage of me talking about my experience with the online hiring fair. I saved myself 50 quid. So definitely do that. It makes 110% sense because you're only speaking to camera. She asked me 8 questions. We had a laugh before, we were talking beforehand and all that, and then we went into the interview mode and she asked me 8 questions, and I've seen myself pop up on Instagram twice. You might as well do it. It saves yourself 50 quid. That's a lot of money if you're young doing camp. And the way I'm going to look at it is, when I'm in America, if I buy something for about like $75, $80, I'm going to be like, this is that money I've saved from doing an interview. As well, like I said, I've got a code. Click this code, it saves you £20 and it gives me back £20. Yeah, you might as well do it because it saves you money. And it can be quite expensive, but not too much. I made it more expensive for me with Belfast. But I'm going back before America with my mate to be like, goodbye. So that's the expenses out the way. For me, I think I haven't paid the 150 yet. Well, the extra £100. So it's only costing me £300 for the whole agency thing. All in all, I've spent about £700 without my flights. But that's because Belfast was ridiculous and so expensive, and I didn't mean for that to happen because I booked a hotel, we were getting food, we were getting drinks, we had to buy other flights, we had to pay for a taxi from Manchester Airport to Liverpool at 10 o'clock at night. It was just awful. But anyway, I digress. The next thing I want to speak about are the interviews and what no one told me about them, but it was amazing. So after applying and paying £50 deposit, you get onto the camp leader's website, and basically on this website you make a CV for yourself to show other camps who you are, what you can do, why you're a good role model, why you're a good fit for like the camp and the kids. And it's quite cool and unique because I didn't realise it would be like that. Like, you make a CV saying like all the stuff you can do, and again, it's basically set out for you of the ask a question and say, list everything you can teach, list everything you can help in, support and all that. So like, I done lead in fitness and drumming, and then I can assist. I had a really good CV. Everyone was like complimenting it because I was quite broad with everything. I said I could help with fishing, mountain biking, rock climbing, camping, hiking, sports in general, but I had quite a big diverse portfolio. And every camp I interviewed was like, so you can do fitness and drumming? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, that's actually quite weird because like apparently you don't really get many people who can do both. I don't know. So that was a good little compliment for me, and it's quite funny because I'm not doing any of them. With the interviews, just make sure you know they're so relaxed, they're so cool, they're so calm, you don't need to worry. It's literally like, just wear like whatever. I had my pyjama pants on for like some of them, and then just like a top. Just wear a top, nice t-shirt, get a nice background for you. This was a bit too messy in my opinion for me, so I went downstairs next to like the big clock for my first camp, and then we had like this picture, so I had that behind me. I don't know if that matters. And with the whole point of this video being stuff that no one told me about, I was very surprised of how casual it was, but it's so good and it's perfect for what camp is. I've not been yet, but you know what I mean, like it's perfect for the vibe of everything. As well, remember, these interviews are about you. You're saying, I'm right for this camp. If the camp appeals to you, you know what I mean? Summer camp is about personality, and it's not about saying the right things in the interview. In England, it's quite hard to get a job at the minute, I think. We all know it. Interviews for jobs are like, he didn't say keywords, he's not getting the job. With camp, just make yourself seem like a laugh, a bundle of joy, safe, and prepared to work hard, because it is quite a long shift for 2 months. But just be yourself, honestly. Be yourself, you'll get a camp. It'll be fine. Now, let's move on to camp interviews. Now, this is where it gets exciting because you're talking to Americans. You're waking up the day of the interview and you're thinking, oh my God, I'm talking to them. And then because of the time zone difference, they're working late nights, they're working early mornings. So definitely be prepared to have a late interview or an early interview. Not like 5 in the morning, but I think my latest interview is either 9 o'clock at night or 11 o'clock at night, one of the two. And I was fine with that, like, I can stay up late, you know what I mean? The thing that I love about the camp interviews are they're so cool and strange if you've never done them before. Literally, my first interview was with Camp Woney in Connecticut. Really good camp. If you get one of them camps, I'm saying this for the lads now because The page is sort of for lads, but girls can definitely watch. It's competitive, it seems really competitive, but good. And in England, I think we all have a stereotype of Americans of being competitive, being dramatic and over the top, but that's what you love about it. For me, Camp Lonely just wasn't the camp for me, and because it was the first camp, I really didn't want to just say, oh, I'm going to this camp, I'm going to this camp. I wanted to have a look, but if that happens to you and the first camp is like perfect, or you get that good feeling or whatever, definitely go with that camp, because you will never regret it. Another thing with camp interviews that you need to know, and this is partially why I didn't accept Camp Lonely in a way, on Camp Leaders, and I'm guessing other agencies, the second you pay £150 and you get through to the interview stage, because you're going to camp, you need to decide which camp to go with, you instantly get put on review. You get put on review with one camp, and for me it was Camp Lonely, like that, instantly. Not instantly, maybe like 5 minutes. So in my head I thought, this camp has just been scrolling, and in the second I popped up, you went, ooh, we'll have him, without reading my CV or something like that. That's what I thought happened. It's not. Basically, whilst I'm going through the process, camps can look at people and put you on their shortlist, and then it's just first come, first served. Whoever I say no to, or whoever says no to me, there you go, and then it's the next one. If you do think one camp's a bit too quick to say, we'll have you, it's not the fact that they were like sniping you, just waiting for one person in like fitness or drumming to pop up. They have done the research, they have looked, so definitely don't dismiss the first camp, because it was a bit weird. Literally, as the payments went through, as everything went through, and Camp Leaders was like, you're all set to go, start talking to camps, and they navigate you to the camp section to look at other camps. I was like, oh, got an interview, and then obviously you book an interview, a time slot. But I spoke to a guy, he was amazing. I actually forget his name, oh my god, what was his name? No way I forget his name, but anyway, he was great. But away from me, Camp Lonely. Anyway, camp interviews. So another thing you didn't tell me about is that thing I've just touched on. With Camp Leaders, you only speak to one camp at a time, and I think this is good because it stops you from getting, what's it called, like shiny object syndrome, where you're like, oh, this camp looks good, oh, I want to speak to this camp. It's literally like, you can only speak to one camp. You can either instantly reject them if it's not for you. Like for me, I was rejecting the all boys camps because I didn't want to go to an all boys camp. This is probably my only year at camp, unfortunately. So I didn't want to just go to an all boys camp. I want to experience it all, know what I mean? You have one interview per section, like you can only speak to one camp. But then, the best thing to ever grace planet Earth, the online hiring fair. This is where I got me camp. Essentially, you can book up to 5 interviews with 5 different camps, and it's like Tinder. You're just looking at camps, going no, yeah. You're not swiping, but you can go through them all, read them all, watch the videos, do your research, definitely do your research. And you can put out, like, if you want to do fitness, like me, you can set them to camps who are looking for fitness specialists and all that, so it is quite good. And this is great because when you click on camps, you can look at the photos, the videos. Every camp has a video, like a really good YouTube video or whatever. You can see how many staff are going, how many international staff, how many American staff, how many kids will be there, or campers as they're called. You can see what activities they have, like if it's water-based activities or rock climbing, horse riding, whatever. Like, it's so cool just to watch. You can see the average day, how far it is from location to other locations. Like, my camp is only 90 miles away from New York City. America's crazy. In England, 90 miles from Liverpool. Manchester to Liverpool. Manchester, and then probably back to Liverpool. Know what I mean? Like, what the hell? So yeah, the online hiring fair, it's amazing. And if you get a camp with that, like I said before, you might be able to save yourself £50 if you accept an interview for them to use your stuff. I made up, save myself 50 quid for doing what I do now, talking to camera. It was so good. Some of the things to look out for, in my opinion, are make sure the camp is correct for you. For example, co-ed / boys only. Co-ed is like boys and girls. Boys only is boys only, or girls only. I didn't want to do a boys only because I've always been mates with girls, know what I mean? Like, even as like a kid, I had like best mates who were girls. I think it'll add to the experience of like everyone just there enjoying it, you know what I mean, messing about. But if it's boys only, I can imagine it being more competitive. It'll be fun, it'll be really fun with boys only, but like I said, this is probably me only year in camp, so I want to experience the full thing. Location is massively important. For me, I wanted to be on the east coast of America, just because I feel like there's more there, there's more trees. On the west, it's just a desert, let's face it. So I was like, I want to be more in nature and stuff like that, and I weren't bothered about where I went, but having like New York as like my main area, like the state I'm in, I'm happy with that. I weren't really bothered about going to New York, but yeah. West Coast I think's like a bit more, I don't know, really. I just didn't want to go to the west. I don't know why. Another thing to look out for is start date. Mine is the 19th of June, which means I'll probably fly on the 18th. But start dates are very important, because if you've got stuff planned, like I'm in a band, so I was thinking, ooh, what if we have like a gig, a festival? But it is what it is, I'm going. Number of children per counsellor. Now this is what I asked on the interviews. Basically, in a bunk you might have 2 counsellors, so yourself and me, and we've got to look after 15 kids basically each night. That's like essentially what it says. With certain camps it's more, with certain camps there's 3 counsellors. I don't know, like every camp's different, so make sure you understand. Another thing you got to think about is if it's an overnight camp. I am sleeping in bunks for 2 months straight. On my days off I can go and get like a little hotel or something, but overall I'm sleeping in bunks all the time, and I can't wait, it's going to be good. Bunk styles, TPs, log cabins. The next point, some camps you basically sleep outside or something like that, and I was like, what? I don't want to do that, what if a bear gets me or something? So I'm sleeping in like these like log cabins, I guess. They look really cool, so just ask what type, because some people might not want to stay in like a teepee. Like literally I've seen some camps and it's like a teepee and you live like a Native American. It's quite cool. And as well, if I were you, do some research on Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, Instagram. YouTube is, you're here now for a reason. YouTube's really good for camp leaders. And just a little side note, that's why I'm doing this. There's not many lads. If you're a lad watching this, stick around, because I've struggled a bit with every time I type in on YouTube how to do this in summer camp, tips for summer camp. It's all girls, and that's fine because you're really good at it, but you want someone you can relate with. That's why I'm doing these videos, because I feel like a lot of lads will be able to look at me and be like, yeah, I get them, I understand them, I hope anyway, because it's all girls and that's great. But what am I going to pack for summer camp? Because it's not going to be bras, it's not going to be crop tops, it's not going to be fairy lights. The girls love fairy lights, I don't know why, but the girls keep saying buy like fairy lights, put it around your camp. I don't think I'm doing that, because I'm not a Christmas tree, you know what I mean? So I'd say that, do your research. Now the big daddy, the reason it's cost me so much money, and it's all my fault, so listen to this bit. Visas. The visa, the dreaded visa. Easiest thing you'll do, you just do like a couple documents, and you've got to get your website, not your website, you've got to get your documents all printed off and all that. Then you got to think about your travel. For me, it was cheaper to fly to Belfast, do my visa and come back, instead of getting a train to London. And I stayed the night, so I spent £51 on a hotel, me and my mate. It's still cheaper to go Belfast instead of a train on London, which is ridiculous, because I went on a plane twice, like what the hell. But anyway, then Belfast came, and it was a storm, it was expensive, no one was out, it was cold, it was wet, it was horrible. It was Belfast, but I loved it. I'm going again. Just make sure you know that there's 2 airports in Belfast. Me and Liam did not know, and when we were on the flight, Liam went, hey, we're going to the wrong airport, and I went, what? What? Yeah. And then we got off at Belfast, got on a bus, and the bus to Belfast was £9 for a single. So if there's 3 of yous, get an Uber. 100% get an Uber from the airport to like the centre of Belfast. Yeah, we just done it wrong. Just please do research. You've got to do all these forms, you've got to print off stuff and all that. Get them printed off professionally, because printers are terrible. I used Printpond. It's just a cool little website, I guess. You pay for like, it was £6 for me, you know what I mean, it weren't much. And that's with delivery, so it was quite good. If you can go to Belfast over London, if you're like from the north, definitely go Belfast. It just makes sense. Do your research when you're at Belfast. It's quite expensive for like stuff, but this is why it's so good. Belfast, you can make it a city break, like a summer like a trip with you and your mates. Me and Liam went. We were drinking Guinness, eating food, drinking Guinness. Then we drank some Guinness. Then we had a pint of Guinness. It was so good, literally. We loved it. So, and we made a friend, Chris. Love you, Chris. He's not dead, but Chris. So definitely watch that video. I'll put it here. Such a good little video, and I do something different. I'm like narrating over it. So tell me what you think about it in the comments. 100% make it a trip to Belfast with the lads. By yourself. I was going to do it alone, but I did ask my mate to be like, if you want to come, but I'm doing it alone. The things I would do different. Now this is the last segment of the video, so thanks for watching. But the things I do different. During the application process, I'd ask every camp if you can get assigned to other activities in the afternoon if you're a general counsellor, because I'm going to be a general counsellor. I really want to be the fitness specialist, but now that I look back on it, I'm so happy I'm general. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Just so you know, the specialists do get paid a bit more money, but I'm happy being a general counsellor, because at my camp, the reason I went with Iroquois Springs is because Lindsay said in the morning you do your activities with the kids of your bunk every day, no matter what, you've got to do them. Cool. But then in the afternoon you can get assigned to different stuff, and that's what made me think, oh my god, this is good. So I'm gonna ask to get assigned for fitness in the afternoons, and like drumming and like other stuff. So I'm still going to be teaching fitness. I'm still going to be doing what I love. I'm still going to be doing something that I really want to get into as well. So definitely ask, because every other camp interview I had, they were saying I need more experience. Basically my problem was I had no experience working with kids and no experience being a PT. So throwing me in the deep end was like just not a good idea. So every camp was like, oh yeah, we'll only be able to offer you a general counsellor role. And that's when I was like, okay, no. Not in a rude way, it was just like, not for me. But with Iroquois Springs, Lindsay explained how they work, and I think it's so worth it, because I found camps that I loved, and I was like, I want to go to this camp, I want to go to this camp. And then I didn't really get through the interview stage because we both agreed. You don't need to agree on interview, by the way. You can, afterwards, you can have a think about it and then decline them and reject them, like give a reason or whatever. Clarify what you can do. And this, on the interview stage, like, it's asking about the camp, seeing what it's about, seeing how each day is different, seeing how each day is the same and all that. Another thing that I'd change is the visa. Just do your research. Actually plan a trip. Me and my mate didn't plan it. I messaged him and said, what are you doing on the 28th of January? And he was like, nothing. I was like, want to come Belfast? And he said, yeah. And then we were going. Like it was just so unplanned. But yeah, I could have saved myself probably about like 100 quid, 150 quid if I just planned it better. But it's only money, it'll come back, and it'll definitely go again. Anyway lads, nice one for watching. Or girls are welcome to the channel. But like I said, it's just, there's not many lads on YouTube doing videos for summer camp. So I'm going to try and promote myself in that way for lads to relate to, because it has been a bit weird just watching girls on YouTube do like videos that I'm doing, like things I've done wrong, things I've done right, what to expect. But yeah, anyway, nice one for watching. I'll see you in America.